Welcome back to Blooms and Stitches with Anne-Marie. I won't be long with what I'm going to do today. I do have some flowers that I'm repotting. This is my variegated lipstick plant. I also have an Anthurium that I'm repotting today. I don't know who repots in a white dress, but I just got my lunchtime from my job. I do work from home. That's what I said in my intro. So let's go ahead with repotting this variegated lipstick. You may be asking why I'm repotting this plant. I'm repotting this plant because it has outgrown the pot that it's in. It's not getting enough liquids. The leaf of it is very pliable, and that's what you're going to notice with lipstick plants. When you feel their leaves, if their leaf is very bendable, that says to you that they need watering. So with that being said, this one needs watering. I'm beginning to see that some of the leaves are getting brown, and plus it's a time of year where it's a good time to do your repotting of your plants. All right, I can't find my gardening gloves, so I'm just using what I have, and it's a small apartment, so I'm doing my thing in a container on a table that's covered. You see how quick it came out of this? Because it's so dry. All right, so I don't want to mess up the root of this, because when I'm repotting I usually don't mess it up, but I'm just going to loosen the top a little bit. I'm just going to loosen the top a little bit. I'm examining the root system. It has a very fine root system, so you don't want to mess around with the root system too much. All right, okay, I'm going to rest this in here, and I'm going to mix up my potting mix. Now with variegated lipstick plants and with lipstick plant, they like a properly drained soil, and most plants do. I don't know of much that loves to be waterlogged. There are a few that I know that loves the water, but even then you can't keep too much water in those. So with this one, I have some orchid bark, I have some Miracle-Gro potting soil, and I do have a few other things, like I bought a small pack of stratum mix that I'm going to put in there. I also have perlites that I'm going to mix in there, and because I've been having some issues with spider mites and thrips, I'm going to put a little bit of the sulfur dust inside of the mix as well. So I'll come back when I'm finished with that mixture. Look what I found out. So no water is reaching the bottom of this. No matter how you do it, you'd have to perforate that. I made the mistake of putting this in here. I used to top water my plants. However, because I'm getting a lot of flies and so forth, I stopped doing the top watering and I start bottom watering. But unfortunately, I didn't look at this to see that it wasn't perforated when I put it in there. That's something you're going to have to do. If you buy these pots, you've got to make sure that you're taking off the bottom off of them when you're watering them, so that when you're bottom watering, the root system gets the water. All right, so I'm going to change it to this container, and then I'm going to go to the dollar store maybe tomorrow and get a decorative pot to put it in. That is the same thing I do with most of my plants. I'm doing this, I want to go ahead and to tell all my new subscribers, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for watching my making a mess. my video. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all the comments and the good wishes. As you know, I don't post on a Wednesday and on a Sunday. Those are my days off. Be careful of the sulfur dust. Woo. Now I've taken off my gloves to put a little cinnamon powder in my dirt mix. I know it looks like I'm seasoning meat, right? No, I'm not. Cinnamon is actually good. It brings nutrients. It wards off spider mites and all of those things. Recently, I have been putting a lot of cinnamon in my plants because I kept forgetting, and I noticed that they've come back a little bit. So I'm going to put cinnamon in the mix to prevent any future occurrence of spider mites or thrips or whatever. So I'm doing prevention right at the start of reap. Your hands in there. Get your hands in there and mix it all around. Don't be scared of the dirt. You love the dirt will love you, okay? It's just soil. So get in there and stir it all around. How did I come to love plants, you may be asking? My mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, they all love plants. And it was just brought down to me. My kids are not very interested in plants, but that's okay. They have other interests as well. So I love plants. It's a part of my therapy. I went through a very hard time, and when I get my hands into the soil, when I do something like this, it really does give me a lift. I feel happy when I'm doing these things. Yeah. So if you notice, the pots are just a little bit bigger than each other. You notice, just a little bit bigger, because with these kind of plants, lipstick plants, some of the plants, they like to be root bound, they like to be in a close quarter, so you try not to put it in too much of a bigger pot, so they strain to, you know, their roots strain to fill up the pot. All right, so I'm gonna put a little bit in there, just a little bit. I'm gonna put her in there, scoop some more. So I put her a little bit further down in there, but I didn't affect her root system too much. I now have a clean scissors. I'm gonna take off whatever dry leaves she has on her, leaves that aren't serving any purpose. I'm gonna take it off, and then I'm going to give her a nice drink, a nice long drink with distilled water. Yeah, a nice beautiful long drink. She already has some fertilizer in her, Longo fertilizer, and she will be okay from here on out. My only problem now is to find a nice pot for her to go in, because I like them when you put them inside of a pot. It gives the roots the humidity that they need, but it's also nice not to have the plastic outside just like this. It's very decorative and it's very nice. So for all my plant friends that they just have the plastic outside like this, it's okay, that's your choice. But for me, I'm going to go to the dollar store and I'm going to get a decorative pot to put it in. I'll give her some water in a bit, but in the essence of time, I'm going to deal with this one. Now this one, look at all of her leaves. Something is going on with her root system. Once you see that there's no new bloom, there is just sadness going on, and all of them is dried up, what do you think I'm going to do? Hmm? Tell me what you think I'm going to do with this one. Just a minute. Let me show you what I will do. Where did I put the scissors? Here it is. The only thing that you can do when you have something like this, that's the only thing that you can do. And you toss those away, you throw away the dirt that's in there, and you look at the root system. And I'll be back to show you what the root system looks like. So I'm back, and this is what the root looks like. So there was root rot. There was a part of it that was broken off. My daughter fell on it, so there's a little part of it that broken off, but the root is still there. I think it can be saved. So I have some diluted peroxide I'm going to spray it with. I washed off the root properly, take off all the dirt off of it, and spraying it with the peroxide. I'm going to let it dry a little bit. Then I am going to coat it with my Pro Mix root stimulator, and I'm going to put it in a tiny container with some of the fluval stratum and some of my dirt mix, but more of the fluval stratum than the dirt mix, and to just see if it will boost it for it to grow. All right, and hopefully in another video I can show you the outcome of it, if it starts to bloom a little bit more flowers and anything like that. So I am going to end the video here. That is me repotting my baby. And while you're on here, while I'm waiting for the root of my Anthurium. By the way, I have her sister. Let me show you her sister. This is what her sister looks like. This is what her sister looks like. And I propagated off of her sister. I propagated just a little piece. I took off a little piece of the root system, and I put it in this container I've had for a while. It has in so much of my corms, and I just throw the corms in there with the leca, so you can see a lot of corms is going in there. I don't do anything to it, I just throw it in there. So a piece of that Anthurium I put in there, and look at the babies growing. Look at them, huh? So I'm going to give it a little bit more time. Maybe during the summer I'll take it out and repot it on its own, but I propagated both of them, so I'm not giving up on this root. I am not, because I know it can come out like that. Because look at these babies. Look at these babies. This is babies Anthurium. Those are alocasias that I put in there. And maybe I'll just get a setup like this. There are containers at Michael's or at my local thrift store that I can buy, and just put it in something like this and just leave it alone. Because once you put it in a container like this, you don't have to do anything to it. It has its own humidity, and I haven't put any water in this for maybe about 4 months, and I've taken out quite a number of alocasias. Let me show you one of the alocasias that I take out from here, and I repotted. So one of the corms that I took out of that container is this alocasia. Now recently she got a touch of the thrips, and so you can see a little bit of this. So I'm watching her closely. I rinsed her off, but look at her growing. And I took out a philodendron Brazil and propagated it in this one, and I haven't put any water in it, but because of the humidity, it's growing on its own. It just have its own sweat, its own thing that it does in there, and look at the water that it's supplying to the plant all on its own. So I might do that with the alocasia. But while you're here, let me go ahead and water Miss the lipstick plant, the variegated lipstick plant. Always have distilled water. I need to buy a distilled machine, but yeah. And I just let her be in there so she can get a long drink, because she's very thirsty. She's a very thirsty girl, so I leave her in there. Anyway, I'm going to end the video right here today. Thank you for staying with me, for watching my video while I repot my plants, just juggling with me. Remember, please remember to subscribe to this channel, like the video, leave a comment, you know, share it with your friends, make any suggestions about growing my plants, about things that I can do. Maybe you do things a little bit differently. Have a lively discussion in the chat. I'm always responding to it. Thank you so much for joining Anne-Marie today with the Blooms and Stitches by Anne-Marie, and I bid you have a great day until I see you in the next one.